I know, you just got done watching Nope, you're driving home, you sit in your house, you're in the dark thinking, did I like this movie? Did I not? But the biggest question in your mind is, the was up with that monkey? And well, since Jordan Peele's latest horror movie, Nope, has finally released, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing here for you guys. Not only giving you my spoiler review on the movie, I'm also going to be diving into the ending of the film, breaking down some of its symbolisms and metaphors, talking about the twists in the movie, and of course, the most asked question I've been getting is how the monkey Gordy fits into the story and what's his deal. But this won't just be about my opinion. I want to hear from you people down below. Are you someone who came out loving this movie? Are you someone who's a little indifferent on it? That, along with any of your own theories and thoughts, I'd love to hear them down below. Also, timestamps in the description if you just want to skip to a part you most want to hear about. Alright, so getting straight into it here with Nope, let's talk about the main twist of the movie that I was actually so surprised by and actually really loved. Through the course of the movie, we find out that there is a UFO, or as they want to call it, a UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon. That was one of the early hints the movie was trying to give to you, that it's not an object in the sky, that it is something else entirely, and that was that there really wasn't any aliens with 2 arms and 2 legs. Instead, the flying saucer is the actual living, breathing alien, basically turning Jordan Peele's Nope into a monster creature very similar to Jaws. That's the aspect of this movie I found so brilliant and attached to, because it was unexpected and it also changed our perception of how we see UFOs. Never really crossed my mind that the UFO itself could be the living, breathing thing. Even more creative, what Jordan Peele was able to do throughout the movie with turning the sky essentially into its ocean and the flying saucer into its shark, where with Jaws you could argue, yeah, it's scary to be in the water if there's a shark out there, but once you get out the water, you can head home, you can go to the diner, you'll be safe and fine. But here in Nope, the sky is everywhere. You can't really avoid going outside. And the way Jordan Peele builds suspense and tension in here, I was terrified seeing that thing fly around the air, pick up people, then just disappear into the mountains. Still, even though I was someone who was satisfied and loved that twist, I knew there was going to be people who were not going to like it, just because I think there was some expecting to see traditional looking aliens, or maybe some, like in the words of Jordan Peele, just didn't like the monster design and what they were given and were just kind of let down.
The scariest thing that you can put an audience through is allow their imagination to go crazy. And in fact, you can have a movie where nothing happens if the audience knows we're headed somewhere and they're trying to figure out where that is. And I think quite often what happens in a horror film, in many horror films that maybe work less for me, is like the second you see the monster, it's like, okay. Yeah, that's lamer than what I thought the monster was gonna look like. Okay, well, all right, we'll deal with it.
And here's where I want to transition, talking about some of the themes and metaphors in Jordan Peele's Nope that might have elevated it even more for some people. The essential message being unfolded in Nope is the idea of a spectacle. It's how in today's society, we're not only desensitized to everything entertainment, we also go to extreme lengths to receive that entertainment. Take our 2 main characters, for instance. They just lost their father, their farm is about to go bankrupt, they discover aliens in the sky, and the first thing they think of, let's record it so we can make money and get famous. That's also why you have the director character who's obsessed with this art and this perfect impossible shot that no one's ever done, putting him in a position that ultimately cost him his life just so that he can attempt to get the impossible shot. I think the message was made like super obvious and clear once the motorcycle man with the helmet came in. In the movie, it's revealed that he's a TMZ reporter, and I mean, the guy's an exaggerated version of one, where he's trying so hard to record whatever's happening, and even after he gets into a motorcycle accident, he's got his arm broken, leg broken, he's yelling at Daniel Kaluuya to record the situation. Think about all the people you've seen online who get in car accidents and then immediately just record it for entertainment purposes. That's what Jordan Peele was just trying to really get across, and it's also why Daniel Kaluuya's character is the first to understand, because he's one of the only characters in the movie that isn't all obsessed with wanting fame and fortune. You get a small hint of that because when he's surrounded by cameras in Hollywood, he's just uncomfortable in that situation. He's also one of the only young people to willingly have a flip phone in today's modern age, and that's how it correlates to the UFO monster in the sky, having him be the first to realize that if you don't look at the monster in the sky, it's not going to attack you. Essentially saying, if you're someone who can avoid all these spectacle distractions that we get thrown at on a daily basis, you yourself are somebody that can be saved and not desensitized to a lot of the things we are witness to today. And yes, Stephen Young's character also fits in with this theme of the message, but it goes even deeper than that. Bringing me now to finally talk about what was the whole deal with Gordy the monkey. Why did the movie cut away to show us that backstory for it to never tie back in, into the movie. And this is why I guess people would come out slightly disappointed or just confused with Nope, because unless you're paying attention to the underlying themes, there is no direct connection to why Gordy and Stephen Young's character have all this backstory. Because we find out Stephen Young was a childhood star, most likely inspired by real-life actor Ke Kwan, who was the Asian kid that showed up in the movie Goonies. And now, just like that real-life actor and Stephen Young's character, they were really never able to find work outside of being a kid. But in the time Stephen Young was working, he was attached to this sitcom that revolved around the idea of a family that took in a chimpanzee and was just raising it. As the movie continues on, we later found out tragedy struck the set because one day the chimpanzee just went loose and started just beating the actors on set, costing the lives of the mother character, the father character, and then horribly disfiguring one of the young actresses who we later see show up at Stephen Young's show in current day. This tied into the message because it showed off how even a tragedy, something so horrific that costs the lives of people, can be exploited for money. He has this little hidden museum with all the leftover props, even one shoe that still has the blood of one of his co-stars, letting you know that people still pay a lot of money for these items, and even just to see this little museum, playing more into the message of the movie, but there's even a subtext in it because Gordy represents how we abuse animals for our entertainment. Stephen Young's character as a kid witnessing it firsthand should have known that you're not able to tame a wild beast just for entertainment and money, and it's because of him not learning his lesson that ultimately cost him not only his little amusement park, but the lives of his families and audiences. Because we find out that Jupiter has actually known about the aliens in the sky for 6 months. And there's scenes early on in the movie that hint that he's aware of this. One, he's buying up all the horses from the farm, but also there was a sequence where OJ, Daniel Kaluuya's character, is walking out in the field and he sees a bunch of lights, and you can hear Jupiter's voice on a speaker practicing his show. That's why he's also fully prepared in this cowboy outfit that has alien symbols all over it, a flying saucer, and even merchandise to exploit the alien further with little masks and costumes and dolls. And that's essentially how the monkey fits into the story. Jupiter goes on to repeat history and not learn from his mistakes, trying to tame a beast that one day just snaps and decides to take over the hand that's feeding him. At one point, the movie even references Siegfried and Roy. That was a real life situation where it was a show in Las Vegas of two guys who had a tiger until one day the tiger got mad and just bit one of them on stage. Bringing me to my final thoughts here. With all this stuff said, the twist of the flying saucer, the underlying message, how it all connects, I think Jordan Peele is brilliant, and I can understand why a lot of people are so blown away with the movie. And I myself, like I said, I love the twist and I love the way the film handled a lot of the stuff. In the end, even me understanding everything going on in the film, I feel like there was a better way to piece everything together, where the story of Gordy didn't feel so left out for general audiences who aren't going to pick up on the theme. How the movie does move a little too slow for me, and I thought the reveal was just done way too late and should have happened earlier so you could appreciate some of the nuances of the film. And that's not even talking about some of the logistical issues in here. Like, you're telling me Jupiter's character for 6 months has been showing off a flying saucer who eats a horse, and yet he still barely has an audience that shows up to it. Again, if you really want to, you can say that goes towards the message of being desensitized, that even if there was an alien show out there, eventually people would just not show up as much. But I gotta think 6 months in, that thing would be bumping and packed, and also the neighboring farm would hear that they have an alien show and are actually completely unaware. But again, that's just my explanation and opinions with the movie Nope. I think it was still a really brilliantly done movie. It's one I'm happy to have seen in an era where we don't get enough original films. It's also one that the more I think about it and stay with it, I kind of like it a little more, so it's kind of on par with me with Us. But who knows, in a couple months I might actually put Nope right under Get Out. Don't be forgetting to leave me your thoughts down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Don't look up in the sky. Aww.